Hello everyone, this is Fun Smoke Up Funds. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about BTS's relationship as individuals and as a group with their management. So just jumping straight into it, the most recent controversy that happened in relation to BTS is Uri Park Jimin and that weird insurance thing. And it just was ugly because it's like, how could these things keep happening? But like, it seems around the other members it's super airtight. So we're starting out with Jimin right away with the tea. Hopefully you're interested who is listening, who you're interested in what's going on with the others. But let's talk about the first scandal. So Jimin, on his pile, how he views the company, how the company views him, and what the relationship is kind of like in the middle, slash what the public sees, slash what it looks like from the outside in general. So starting off, what Jimin sees the management as is the Ace of Cups. Is the Hangman. How they see Jimin is 2 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, and 4 of Pentacles. In the middle pile is the 10 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and the Judgment. So first off, starting with Jimin, how he sees the company. There's something very almost like Libran in quality here that it's almost like he meets a new motherfucking person every day he walks into them offices. Like, he really just kind of is allowed to live his life as he would normally. He might not have very many close established relationships with, those who work at the company. It's not that he doesn't know some of their old managers or whatever who might be working, but those might not necessarily be the people who are working with them closely and dealing with all of their things. Like I said, it feels specifically like every time he kind of has to deal with them, he's speaking to someone new. So there's no really established, boundaries, humor, and things there. So it's more so, it feels like uncomfortable for the management who might have to deal with him rather than him feeling uncomfortable dealing with them. Because it's always like business professional, casually friendly work stuff because he might not necessarily be close to them. Like I said, there's this weird free-flowing airiness about how he views them simply because it seems like he's always been kind of able to just do his own thing, mind his own business, as of recently, as of the time of reading, without anyone really bothering him because he never really seemed to have any large affairs or grand things going on with him. And it seems like this is just kind of a perpetual cycle with how he deals and interacts with management. It's just some kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of situation. So he feels no need to go, get entangled up in getting close or super close to, managers and people that, he might not necessarily see himself trusting, etc. So he kind of just lives with it that way, which is not necessarily a bad or unproductive type of relationship to have. So moving into how they view him is there are some of them that do really like him. He has this ability, it seems, to make them feel close to them. And when it comes down to it, they usually get things done, right? But there is almost a sense of still here that there's not really any sort of closeness in understanding how he works and functions, because it just seems like, I don't know, I would wager to say what it feels like is any of the management that they have to deal with are more than likely closer with the other members who maybe are more proactive in going out of their way to speak to and get to know them and do things like this. But with Jimin, they kind of just, they do their own fucking thing. They both are kind of running in their different circles. It's not as if, the fucking management is mega stars anyway. Also, 4 of Pentacles tells me that they kind of just don't really tend to bother Jimin with any sort of details, which feels like it was probably in relation to the scandal. But it just seems like they don't bother him with details that don't matter because he seems not to have 1,000 affairs going on, which is not a bad thing, but that's probably the cornerstone of our problem. So in the middle, and what it looks like from the outside is one in the relationship is allowed a lot of freedom to do what he wants, Park Jimin. But it puts a lot of stress on management because it's kind of like a, oh shit, we have to go flag down Jimin and figure out what's going on, or damn, he's not really responding to us, or he's not, telling us what he wants to do, so now we have to make the decisions for him, kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, it seems like, if at all, I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't anybody part of that management staff who felt almost like bitter towards Jimin, because he seems so carefree. But like, I don't see a reason for there to be any sort of anger towards him, if that makes any sense. Simply because he kind of just, whenever he's given his schedules, he shows up and he does it and he goes. That's all. He's the type of person, like, his relationship with management, if he were to happen to be like a solo artist, for example, would be very much like, schedule this and that, give me the paper so I know when to be there, and I will show up and do my job and leave. That's how simple it is. And I feel like that's kind of probably how Jimin views what the relationship is and should be like. It shouldn't be anything, nor here nor there, no left, no right, up or down. It's just that simple. Except there are a couple of fundamental things that seem to be missing in the relationship, if that makes any sense. I genuinely didn't think I was going to be talking about this long. So we might have to break this up into 2 parts so it's not awful to listen to. So now into the overall energies to see if there's any more tea sitting around and remaining. Is the Ace of Pentacles, is this the 10 of Cups and the 5 of Cups, Justice, 5 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. So yeah, like I said, it seems like Jimin is able to kind of just go carefree because he doesn't feel like he took any sort of initiative to build a huge brand. You know what I mean? He very much feels like he's a part of the columns that holds up the brand of BTS, if that makes any sense. So in terms of a solo artist brand, maybe there's nothing there, which it's kind of difficult because they have the simultaneous BTS brand, but they also have their individual brands as artists. And it seems like it's just kind of hard for them to get in contact with him and figure things out and get it done, because things have a tendency to move very slowly down the pipeline when they finally get the chance to flag Jimin down and speak about whatever might need to be discussed or any representatives of Jimin. And like I said, things are kind of moving slow, so thus it feels very prone to having a lot of hard stops, like a lot of someone like ghost breaking. I mean, like, oh shit, and everyone kind of jerks forward because there are a lot of delays and trips and slip-ups that happen in the situation. So I don't really know if I like this energy, because it kind of seems and feels like some of his stuff is often mismanaged, but they normally have enough time to fix it and get everything done before anything goes out to the press or down the pipeline to the public. So like I said, it does feel very reminiscent in relation to the scandal that this stuff getting leaked out was because, there was a jerk along the line, not a jerk of a person, but there was like a mistake that happened, but this was the one time they couldn't catch it. But of course, to get into it more specific, let's talk about the scandal itself, because we've talked about the relationship with Jimin and management. So now into the next. So now into our scandal business is the 5 of Wands reverse, Page of Swords reverse, the 8 of Wands, 6 of Cups, King of Pentacles overall bottom, the Fool, 10 of Pentacles, Empress, Temperance, the Knight of Cups, and Judgment. So I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like I said, there was a lull on either side. This could have been in terms of like the landlord company, whatever the fuck, and then the side dealing with Jimin's stuff. There was a lull. And it was like a hard ghost break. It was a oop. Like the car jerked forward and everyone paused because it's like, oh shit, we almost just got into an accident, right? Problem here is that I'm looking at is that it was probably put in the hands on either side. It was put in the hands of the wrong motherfucking person. Someone who could be a bit childish in nature. Maybe they were not fully trained for the job. Like I said, on either side, also peeking out 5 of Swords. On either side, it was put in the wrong hands. And boom, here it is. It was like Now, I wouldn't say a miracle. It was something that wasn't actually supposed to happen. There was a, like, it was giving maybe not like 50-50, but like a 60-40 chance that it was not supposed to come out, but it did. That 40% hit like it was supposed to, as probability would have it, and it was revealed to the public. And it went motherfucking everywhere. So thus it was a humbling experience on all sides. Like, the playing field was leveled. Motherfuckers came in and trampled this shit down and leveled it out. Because, of course, here go all of Jimin's personal information being leaked. And armies who felt scorned trampled all over this company who released his business. And they stomped all over it. So thus, it seemed like it was also a bit of a wake-up call for Jimin to take a little bit more responsibility as an adult, step up and make sure his stuff is done. However, of course, it's not like, he wouldn't get his stuff done because they were gone for so long. But thus, I digress. It seems like it was a wake-up call for everybody's fucking body in the situation. That, you don't, of course, you don't slight armies. Not even, on the, well, who beat in my chest, ooh, armies did that shit. Not even on that shit, but, it was just kind of this situation is something that needs to be cleaned up. It was kind of like a unique, out of nowhere type of, this is not an everyday typical thing. Thus, I feel like there's really not much to step up from that, other than that it might have actually kind of jogged up and inspired some things in Jimin. So who knows what we might be seeing from him creatively, or maybe we'll see him coming out and expressing himself more, stepping out and showing us, like, the face turn of Park Jimin. Other than that, there really isn't a ton that's coming out of this. So let's move into his soulmate and what his relationship is like with management. So jumping into Kim Taehyung. I'm laughing because, you know what? Let's just get into it, and I'll tell you what the tea is. So, how he views management is 5 of Wands, 3 of Wands, the 9 of Cups. How management views him is the Death, 10 of Pentacles, and the Tower. And in the center, what it looks like from the outside is the Queen of Swords, the Star, and the 10 of Wands. Overall, bottom, Queen of Cups peeking out 8 of Wands. Hierophant, 3 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, and 10 of Wands. So, getting into it, let's start with how Taehyung views their management. He's a thorn in their side. Why, you might ask? There are times that he just feels like he don't want to deal with them, so he gonna do what the fuck he do, and he's gonna mind his damn business. I'm laughing because, like I said, that's what it's giving here. There are some times where Kim Taehyung wakes up and he does not give a fuck. Management cannot tell him shit to do. And there's even times that he probably even be trying to tell management how to do their job. Like, he knows what the fuck going on. Like, what? He could be a real nightmare. Like I said, a real thorn in their side. Not like he's a bad person, but like, he just, that know-it-all in him do be coming out sometimes. It's like, damn, bro, you're not making it easier for anyone else. Other times he can be an angel. It's just like, those who deal with him don't always know which Kim Taehyung is gonna roll out of bed that day. That's all there is to say. There are even some times where, like, they could speaking directly to him and he will just go silent and act like he didn't hear them. So oh dear. He also might even argue with them. This is at the time of reading, by the way, so maybe things have changed. There's more details in here that'll make it make more sense, so don't get too angry at me yet if anyone is listening to this. Is that he probably does get into it with them. So how they view him is that they actually might have had to change the management that they have specifically dealing with him or his personal affairs, just because they know which ones get along with him and they can't switch up who that is, if that makes any sense. It's giving like how, let's say for example, he was in college. There is this series of classes that he needs to take, and in one class they switch the professor, he's going to be the kid that might terrorize the professor enough that they put the old professor back in place, and then everything all is well. That what that reads here, the tower. Like, he's probably gotten into this so bad or beef with some of them in a way that they knew that they either needed to quit the job or they had to swap out who was there and into the position. Either way, some of them, the ones that are familiar with him or know him well enough, know how to deal with him in a way that makes sense, in a way that's, you know, there's no fighting, no arguing, no nothing, everything and all is well. But that's what that's giving, is the relationship that management has with him on their end has had to change and adapt to fit him, to work for him. Otherwise, things probably wouldn't be running like they're supposed to run. So now, looking on the outside, what it looks like from the outside is that they, at least some, can see that he has a very witty and almost even like super friendly, cool relationship with management. But if you've ever seen him giving them stress, which also is a little bit present here, it makes sense. He do be stressing them out, like using his little mischievous ways, which can be cute and fun, but they sure do get stressed out because of Kim Taehyung. But in a way, for some of them, not all of them, there's a small percentage of them that wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm assuming those are the ones that, you know, have been around for a long time, have dealt with him for a long time. Some of them, you know, it's like some of them realize that, like, when it comes to managing him and dealing with him, is that they have to take on a secondary and tertiary role, to not just be you know, an employee, a worker, or you know, I guess almost like boss. You have to also be a bit of a friend and be willing to be an emotional support and a caretaker. So the demand for Kim Taehyung out of management is a little bit higher than, I guess, maybe what Jimin would demand, or maybe the standard artist would demand from their management. But other than that, it was very interesting. Also, see the 10 of Wands here is present yet again. He can be a bit of a handful. 7 of Wands, he can be a bit of a handful, but it's not necessarily his fault. It might just be part of his character too, and kind of the things they've been through. So thus, I don't know, this was very interesting. I might have this video unlisted because some of the armies do not know how to act in the comments. So yeah, there's not much else to say. Part 2 and maybe part 3 will be coming, detailing what the other members have in terms of relationship with management, and we will have a final follow-up question to just, I guess, say very simply, you know, what members want to quit and what members want to stay. So yeah, leave me a comment, drop a like, let me know what you think. If you ain't get down with it, get down, don't get down with friends. And you.